Hey friends, hi, very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this video. I'm extremely glad, proud and honored to introduce you to the new guest speaker this week, very experienced leader of hospitality industry. So we have Anita Ilavia ma'am today with us. Thanks for giving us an opportunity to talk to you. Most of the friends who are watching this video, let me proudly announce you that we are having a leader on this call who has seen the industry phase through different phases the whole Indian hotel industry has passed through. She has witnessed more than 3 decades of leadership roles. Anita Ilavia ma'am has worked in world-renowned organizations like Taj, ITC, Indian Hotels Company, in various levels and in various departments. L&D department, training management department, learning and development department, personnel HR department, housekeeping, sales. I mean, she has seen it all. So it will be a great honor to ask some important questions for hospitality industries and learn from her. She has personally, she is guru to me. I have learned a lot from Anita ma'am. Ma'am, I was always honored to be a part of your sessions as a co-facilitator. I think that was one of the greatest learning experience I had personally, and I'm so glad that I'm able to speak to you today on an interview, formal interview, wherein a lot of other young leaders can get an opportunity to listen to you. Thank you so much, ma'am. So with your permission, may I please start the interview?
Yes, please.
Most of the people who are watching these videos are there are like mix of audience, entry-level employees, mid-level managers, and some questions which I collected over the past 1 week from most of my hospitality industry leaders. Very interesting question came through on the questionnaire, ma'am. One of the leader is asking how effectively a leader can manage a large-scale hotel, luxury hotel, large-scale hotel. What are the 5 skills and attributes you would suggest or recommend for this kind of leadership role, ma'am?
Okay. Thank you, Naresh. Thank you for this invitation. And I think this is a wonderful question. So, if I think about it, that what are the 5 skills? Of course, there are many. I can't put it down as at 5, but let's look at 5 skills that I think are really important for a leader to grow to manage a medium-sized hotel also. First would be, do you have customer service skills? In today's world, every hotel offers the same room, the same amenities, the same restaurants. There's not much of a difference. So, what is the actual difference that you can see in 2 hotels? Like if I say Taj and I say maybe another hotel, the difference is that Taj is actually a people's-oriented, a customer-oriented hotel. So the first would be customer service skills. Do you have customer service skills? Can you perceive what a customer or a guest wants? So if you are able to think, to be able to understand, to be able to read body language, to be able to give what the guest really wants, that is customer service skills, you've got the first attribute that is needed. The second, in today's world, and especially today, if we look at the way there's racial discrimination, there are boundaries that are made, and people say that the first thing, even in India, when you are spoken to, you're asked, are you a Punjabi, are you a South Indian, are you a Tamilian, are you... So what I think is important for a leader is to have cultural sensitivity, cultural awareness. So let me put it as 5 C's. The first C being customer service skills, the second C being cultural sensitivity. The third skill, which I think is most important, is communication skills. Are you a communicator? And for communication skills to be important, you have to be a listener. You must be able to listen before you answer. So communication skills, whether they are verbal, whether they are non-verbal, whether it's an email, whether it's a courtesy call, whether it is listening to a guest complaint, speaking to a guest, pacifying a staff, motivating a staff, sharing your knowledge, accepting change, all this is part of communication skills. So that's the third. The fourth C that I would say is important would be cross exposure. So I'm just giving you a little bit of so I'm going to share a small story with you. This is the story about a student who was doing his industrial exposure with me. Okay, so this is the time when they used to do 6 months of exposure. I was the housekeeper at that time, and every evening he used to come to me and say, "Ma'am, what can I do more?" So I told him, "Go shampoo a carpet." "Ma'am, I've done that." "Go strip a room." "I've done that." "Go make a bed." "I've done that." "Go clean a bathroom." "I've done that." So one day, in totally like disgusted I was, I said, "Do one thing, pick up the caddy and go and clean the guest urinals." So he went and cleaned the urinals and he came back fast. And believe me, they never looked so good, so shiny. Out of curiosity, I called him back, and smart boy, very smart, lovely communication skills. He was the topper of the class. And I called him back and I said, just tell me for my own, I want to know for my own understanding, why are you so keen on doing every little thing I tell you? If I tell you urinals, you'll go and do it. If I tell you to clean the garbage room, you do it. So he says, "Ma'am, tomorrow I'm going to be the general manager of a hotel, and I need to know every job in the hotel." So, friends, the fourth important skill, the fourth important attribute would be cross exposure. And the last would be cooperation with other departments. No department is greater. No finger is, you need all five fingers to work. You need every department, but you need to understand every department. So I hope that answers your question, Naresh.
Of course, ma'am. Thank you. The kind of exposure you come with, the kind of experience and observations, and so many thousands of case studies you must have seen in your life and in your tenure. So, an advice or recommendation coming from you is thus extremely valuable. Thank you for sharing interesting story. It makes us understand easily. Based on whatever I heard you speak, I'm very curious to know, if someone decides to take up a bigger responsibility of leadership role 5 years down the line, and if I have 5 years of time wherein I can groom myself, prepare myself, what would be your recommendation as an L&D specialist? What would you recommend people like me, leaders like me, to work on for the next 5 years, so that we are well placed to take such bigger responsibilities?
So most people, Naresh, that move or want to move into a higher position or take on a new designation in the hospitality line, I find are from the operation department. So even I have been in an operational department, and I realized that one thing that operational departments definitely lack is financial knowledge. So to take on a higher role, you need to understand the finances or the financial working of a hotel. I'm not looking at only ARRs or rest the market. What is the trend? How can I capture business? If you look at any city, there is just that much of business, and that much of business is being divided by n number of hotels. How do I get a bigger chunk? That operational part of our work, our hotel work, that we leave finances to the financial controller or the accounts department. So we need to understand that. We need to understand a part of HR, which is very, very important, human resources. What do I do? How many casual should I have? How many should be on roll? What is the differentiation? I need to understand what is the job profile or the job description of everyone in my hotel. And this is a big job. It's really, really big job, because only then will I be able to get talent, acquire the right talent. Alone, no one can run a hotel. You need the best talent to run a hotel. So instead of having 20 people who are average, who are mediocre, can I get 5 people who are super skilled, super passionate to do their work? Then I would also look at what are my skills, what are my technical skills that are lacking. I may be from front office and I want to move into a higher, I want to become maybe an assistant general manager. Am I sure about my wines? Do I know how to pair wines and food? Do I know about cheese? Do I know about thread count? Do I know about carpets? So, what is the technical skill that I will need? That is something that I need to go. Another thing is leadership. Leadership is a totally different ballgame. So, as you know, there are different leadership styles. Sometimes you're being very firm. Sometimes you're being lenient. Sometimes you have to compromise. So I'll need to put myself through some small leadership program. This could be a in-house module. It could be a module that you can take, which are free online, or you can join a university. But this is necessary. This is mandatory because it helps you understand another human. So these are the three things that I think are very important: commercial and the financial working of a hotel, what skills I lack, what technical skills I need to build on, and basically my education. Can I add something? So just speaking on education, being with Taj for nearly 20 plus years, something that I learned from them and which I'm passing on to you. It was very funny, and if you look through my education, you'll find that I did my master's in tourism straight after I finished my graduation. But I did another master's in personal management, which was many years later. In fact, I was teaching at the Institute of Hotel Management when I did that. And the reason being that every year, at the end of every year, the Indian hotel company asks you, the employee, how have you grown? What have you added? What knowledge have you added? Have you taken another degree? Have you taken? And when you say you can't, they turn around and tell you like if you haven't invested time in you yourself, how will we invest anything in you? We can't invest. So if you invest in yourself today, you will be able to see the results. These are basically what I think a person needs to be able to grow in any organization and take on higher leadership.
They say sharpen the axe, right? When we invest in ourselves,
Absolutely.
we get ready for the bigger responsibilities, and obviously we will be able to achieve efficiency and effectiveness. And I also understood that every time we go to a new role, Anita ma'am, again we kind of learn a lot, because you have spent many years in L&D department. I'm sure you have impacted thousands of professionals who are presently working as finest leaders in Indian hospitality industry. I'm curious to know, representing L&D department, Anita ma'am, what do you and your team do to groom and to support aspiring leaders, someone who wants to do well? What processes or maybe what strategies you would suggest for any other L&D professionals to practice?
Awesome question. So let me start by telling you, Naresh, that when I started off with L&D, it was a fight with all the operation departments. It was a constant fight. Why do I have to send someone for training? Array, he's already on the job. He knows everything. So first and foremost, L&D is important because they are benchmarks. And to reach benchmarks, to sustain benchmarks, to sustain service standards, L&D has to play a very important role. So L&D there has to be more emphasis on training. Training is mandatory. Slowly now, as hotels are reopening, whether you look post-lockdown, pre-coronavirus, COVID-19, post-COVID-19, everyone realizes that training is that one department that is going to help the hotel stand back on its feet. Likewise, so before even the coronavirus or the COVID-19 started, training was that department that actually oriented a new joinee into the hotel. It's the first person, the first department that a new joinee meets. And as we say, the first impression is the best impression. It lasts the longest. That's how important training is for a new joinee. They tell you about the core values, the goal, the vision, the mission, what is the company all about. So it is like me giving you the keys of a car and telling you, Naresh, go to Delhi, go to Kashmir, go to Sikkim. The first thing you'll ask is like, where do I go? How do I go? Do I take a left? Do I take a right? But L&D is that roadmap that helps a new joinee realize that one, you're not alone. You have someone here, you have a buddy, which is very, very important when you're new in an organization. They help you get comfortable in your role. They help you understand and know every nook and corner of your house, which is your hotel. And they help you to understand your SOPs. Once you have mastered your SOPs, then there are evaluations and assessments down the line that L&D keeps doing, keeps seeing the potential of a leader in a staff, identifying, are they visionary? Are they motivated? Is he emotionally intelligent? Can he inspire others? Does he have that passion, that fire that burns in him? Once L&D does this, L&D passes it on to the senior management and says, okay, I have been monitoring A for the last 1 year. And once that I've been evaluating someone for a year, and I find that he's capable of taking on a senior role. So that is how important L&D is. L&D is important to also help, so all of us aren't born with the power to be able to handle complaints. Handling complaints is one of the biggest problems that a hospitality staff faces. L&D comes in here and actually helps a staff to understand, doing role models, doing role plays, doing various scenarios, putting them through different case studies, makes them understand how to handle a complaint when it comes out, giving them that confidence. L&D is also important to ensure that there is one communication link between all the departments. And lastly, this is what L&D is important for. It is to break walls between every department. So this is the one common link that every department has, which is L&D. Going forward, I would say that L&D is going to be very different. If you look at L&D now, I know the way I welcomed people in my hotel was an Aarti Tika Galan. This is new joinees. And at the end of the induction, we actually gave each other a hug. But this is not going to be possible now, keeping social distancing. So I've been planning, and my department has been thinking of going in for more digital learning, going in for virtual reality. Virtual reality, I can give you an example, is like replicating front office or maybe a very, very busy restaurant, which is not really possible because you can't go to front office and train someone when there's a check-in, check-out going. But if I do a virtual reality, it will be possible for me to actually build that scenario where someone learns and then I can test that employee's ability. Can he handle complaints? Is he following the SOP? Can he do a check-in, check-out? Maybe he is not a cashier, but I can put him through the cashier's job role, and maybe he can move into the next role. There's also something called augmented reality. I don't know if you've heard about it. This is where where L&D can actually help maybe a housekeeping staff go into a room and teach him how to make a room. Then there's the third one that I'm going to be working on, but this is what L&D future will look at, is mobile learning. That enables person to learn any and everywhere. So maybe he is doing a break shift and he has just that 1 hour or half an hour and he wants to go into the locker room and he wants to lie down. Fine, lie down, rest, relax. But take your mobile and instead of listening to songs only or playing some foolish game, open out e-learning on your mobile app and voila, you've learned a new skill, you've acquired a new skill. So this is what I see and how I see L&D in the future.
That's great, ma'am. We got some future perspective also from you. Awesome. So, ma'am, now that global pandemic is, we don't know there is a lot of uncertainty. We don't know whether the peak is 2 months down the line, 6 months down the line. Many of the hotels whom I frequently interact with are focusing now at L&D department. However, it is possible that they just realize that the training team or the L&D processes were not pre-planned. So, for example, say there are many 3-star hotels, 4-star hotels. The training department is good enough. However, what are the 4 or 5 recommendations that you would make so that once implemented, the training department altogether, the whole team can go to the next level?
Good question, because this is reality of what is happening around. So L&D right now, I think in all 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, whatever stuff, are only focusing on hygiene, keeping up to what the government has asked us to do, that is social distancing. So what has happened, if you look at any hotel right now, there has been a cut in the staff level. So we are doing shifts. Oh, I would put it in another way, that we're trying to give an opportunity for everyone to work, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So you have a staff member coming in for 15 days and another staff member coming in for 15 days. And what happens during this time is that they're getting only a 15-day salary. This is going to be really, really sad and demotivating. So one thing that housekeeping, that L&D need to do is, one is hygiene and sanitization, trainings round the clock, every day, so that we actually hammer everything in. Second, motivation, just maybe counseling, bringing up every day, ensuring that morals are high, that people feel motivated to come to work. Third, ally fears. Those fears are very, very, I will not go to the floor, I will not go into a room, how can I go and serve a guest? So these are fears that are very real. And as we near the peak, people are saying it's going to be August, September, the fears are going to be much higher. So L&D is going to come in over here and actually help the staff to realize that yes, you can serve a guest and also keep yourself safe. How do you keep yourself safe? How do I keep the benchmark standards that I had of serving a guest? How do I make a room without letting my standards fall and still not go in every day? So if you look at any hotel around the world, one thing that the hotel stopped was the evening turn down service, because turn down service means the guest is in the room. So we are there, as far as possible, the turn down services have been stopped. So so another thing that the L&D has to help a guest is help the staff is to increase their communication skills so that they can connect to a guest more, that they can help a guest also. Because I'll give another example. So as if you go through my profile, you'll realize that right now I am the corporate training manager for the Orchid Group of Hotels. So we were turned into a quarantine hotel, and we had guests who were coming in from Vande Bharat. We needed to actually connect with these guests. Now we are not very sure these guests were positive, negative, what sort of guests they were, but we had to quarantine them for 14 days. Imagine being quarantined at home. It is possible because you have other rooms, but quarantine in a hotel room can be really, really, really sad. So I asked the staff, I said, let's do something to keep them entertained. And they said, no ma'am, hum nahi jayenge unke paas. There is no way we are going to go near them because we don't know whether they're positive. So I made the initiative of going, ringing bells, standing at 6 feet of distance, speaking to guests, asking them how they were, doing a sing-song session. So we had someone come up with a guitar, walk on floor singing songs. The guests were encouraged to open their doors, stand on the door and sing along. This actually helped their morals to rise. It helped them to give a positive feedback to the hotel. All hotels live on that positive feedback. And it also helped the staff to realize that if I go 6 feet close, I am safe. Nothing's going to happen to me. And this is something that L&D will have to do in every hotel, to help them to understand that service cannot be compromised. We have to give that service. The guest is going to come to our hotel for that service, and they've chosen your hotel for that. So we cannot compromise it. So this is what the role of L&D is going to be.
So, Anita ma'am, thanks a lot. I think this gives us a lot of clarity of how or what are the things to be emphasized, right? because there's so many things, and then if we can figure out what are those 20% of the things which can give us 80% of positive results, that can be the key. So thanks for helping us know that. So one last question, Anita ma'am, before we leave. Young professionals who are presently aspiring or planning to join hotel management education, they're very young, they just are out of teenage. What is the message, or what is the real message, or how do you want to introduce hospitality industry?
So if you like adventure, if you like traveling, if you like meeting new people, if you like a job that is not mundane and routine, where every day is a different day because every guest is different. If you like putting someone else before you, that is service. If you are willing to forget Diwali, Holi, Christmas, Eid, and celebrate all these festivals through the eyes of a guest, if you love the beauty of life, you are chosen the right profession. Hospitality is all about connection. It's all about service. It's all about meeting new people from all walks of life. I have not traveled to many countries physically, but I've traveled to many countries because I've met so many guests. I've met people from Germany, France, Italy, Korea, Luxembourg, Denmark, Spain. Why? That means that I've traveled all those countries. So if you want to travel, if you are willing to have the guts to go out and make and be challenged every day, this is the right profession. Hospitality is one profession that is going to keep growing. For any economy, and if you are young and you're joining hospitality right now, I would encourage you to join, because looking at the way the pandemic has actually impacted the economy of our country, the only way the economy of our country can rise is through travel and tourism. Hospitality is one out of the largest employers, 11 employers of the world. So you are joining one of the biggest employment agency of the world, who is going to bring in revenue. So you're actually helping to build a nation. That's hospitality.
That's very, very encouraging and very reassuring from a leader like you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It was thoroughly a pleasure to listen to you, to see you, to meet you. Yeah, to all my dear students, you had an opportunity to listen from the Guru. Please do use this, whatever knowledge you have acquired, and all the best for your future career, education, and your endeavors. And thank you so much, Anita ma'am. Thanks for coming to our channel and giving your valuable time to us.
You're welcome. And all the best to everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.